Basically what I mentioned, I found something on the internet, a neat way to reproduce the shape that I have to fit on my lathe here to fit a handle to the socket chisel, and it's to make one of these, something like that. Hope I can do a little better job this time. Anyway, pretty intuitive once you see it, but not an idea I would have come up with, I don't think. So hopefully I'm this time putting this where you can actually see what I'm doing. Last time I didn't. But it's pretty down to earth. Right there. So I'm hoping with just using Scotch tape it'll be a little better. Less likely to deform. See what happens if I do this. See if I am in fact achieving. Yep, I think that's good. It's hitting the bottom. It's got a good tight fit. Pretty good approximation of what I need. So put this line here, and I'll just have to kind of remember that this line's a bit proud, but not by much, really. And now, based on this, I've got everything I need. I can get my dimensions here, and here, and get my length here. Those three things, now I'd be able to go on the lathe and make what I need. Shape of the handle, there's all sorts of chisel shapes out there. That's a kind of a German approach, I think. Has advantages, with a tight grip, but I really do like the feel of it just keeping this taper. I might like it a little longer, but of course this is made to be pounded. That's why it has that flat end. So, but still longer, I think would make me happier. If it were a carving chisel and weren't meant to be pounded, I think a shape like this is pretty nice. Really fits the hand very well. But this, being a mortising chisel, which I've never used before, and was going to be interested to try it out once I get a handle on it, does need to be able to take a pounding, so I'll have a flat top. I'd like to find, how exactly in the old days they put this. This is leather, and of course this is all hard, should be replaced anyway, but I'm not sure exactly how they did that. So, yeah, lots of stuff to learn. Alright, I'm feeling my way along with this. I decided that the last thing I'm going to do is make this very narrow taper down here because I'm just worried about this whole thing becoming weak. So I've got the top at this diameter. Now I want to bring the shoulder right to this one. I'm actually leaving a little bit of extra because I'm going to be smoothing and sanding and whatnot. So just going to bring the shoulder to that. Now basically you just have to pick a length. I think I want it. Now I have to remember I'm going to pound on it. I kind of have a tendency to want to bring it back rounded here, but I'm not going to. It's going to be pounded on, so try to keep it flat. Tempted to put some wax on there.
Will also be releasing a new album pretty soon. She's had a couple of really critically lauded albums in the past, and it sounds like she's going to keep up that high quality. That was a great song called "Taking Chances." I'm Paul Shagru, and it's the eve of the weekend, so let's get into a little party music here. This is a new one from Nick Waterhouse. He's just released his second album called Holly, and here's This Is a Game from Out of the Box.
Alright, I'm going to try putting some wax on here and see how that works out. Let that dry a little bit. I'll come back and put another one on. Alright, so while I was letting the first coat of wax dry, I did a little web surfing on the subject of the leather cap on the chisel handle, like this one here. And so the way it's done, if you're going to do it, is you leave a tin in there and you actually make a, this is a washer. So that's wood, that's leather, and that's the way it's done. But the advice out there is, if it's a mortising chisel, it's going to get whacked up, a heck of a lot harder than a standard wood chisel, and the leather just is useless. So I'm going to leave it off. I'm not convinced this handle's going to last very long anyway, just because of what's happened here. So this one, I'm basically just going to wind up cutting right here after I make my angle for the socket, and my taper I should say, and then we're going to roll with it. Alright, we'll get my face mask and we're gonna whittle down that. Alright, let's see how this goes. Occurs to me that a tool I really need is a flat scraper. I don't have one. Alright, we'll see how this works out. Alright, I got it about as close as I can get it, I think. Well, actually, one thing I wanted to check. Yeah, I think that's about right. At least as far as this matching up with this. Yeah, I think that's going to work out okay. Actually, I'm going to cut it off a little shorter. No, let's see. That. Proud of that. So I think I'm going to cut it off about right here. Alright. A little bit of eyeball work on it. Alright, just because of the rig I have, I don't have a dovetail clamp or even a 3-jaw or anything like that, so I'm just gonna do the rest with a saw and work from there. Take the tension off of it. You're probably wondering, gee, don't you have a regular wood vise? Yes, I do, but it's in an embarrassing state right now, so this is what I'm using. When I say embarrassing state, what I mean is it's on a bench that cannot be used as a bench right now because it's all full of garbage. sure at least some of you can relate. I think rather than just pound away, I'm actually going to take a flat off of that to try to match some of what's going on in the profile. Can you see this? Yeah. The this is out of round, so I'm going to take a flat off and see how that does. I can chuck this into my metal lathe, which has 3 jaws, and then take some sandpaper to this. I'm leaning towards that right now. Alright, this is sort of a moment of truth. Is this in the frame? Yep, okay. See, there's a long way to go there. Now when I was playing around on my metal vise, I was noticing that, because of the, just the leftover crud in there, it's a little bit dirty. It was marking, it was acting like chalk basically. And it was showing me where I was getting, this flat spot really was pinching. And I started whittling it down, and I think maybe I got a little bit further in, but I decided I didn't want to go too far because this wood's a little green. I'm wondering if it might shrink up on me, and that would leave me with nothing to work with at that point. So I'm going to try it like this for a little while, and if I need to go back and adjust later, I can do it. I found out it worked pretty well putting it in the metal vise. I could get the 3 jaws on it, I have a paper towel around it, protected it. They will sand it down a little bit, so I can always come back and do that. But you can't put wood back. That's the problem. Alright, so let's see what happens here. It doesn't seem to be going much further, does it? Sure is driving into there, though. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. Well, like I said, I think I'm going to... Let's let it give it a chance to dry for a while first, and then we'll make up our minds. Alright. Well, for the time being, I'm going to sand that a bit. For the time being, that's where we are. This, something's going to be done. I'm going to let this dry a while, and if it doesn't seat any better, then I'm going to pull it back out. Tell you what, it's seated pretty well right now, I like that. But yeah, I may pull it back out, sand it, and put it back in. Right now though, that's pretty well. And next thing I'm going to do is put an edge on it and then try cutting myself a mortise. I saw some tutorials on YouTube about that. Hey baby girl! Alright, so I'm not sure how well you can see these marks right here. Play with the focus for a minute. Stand by. I have no idea what kind of prying or whatever this was used for, but I'm going to try to clean that off and just some other things in here. I've got a pretty good file. Very fine file that seems to be working pretty well. And I'm just gonna take that down as best I can. Of course, now I've got clean spot syndrome going on because that's a better looking surface than I got in the rest of the back. Actually, it's not the back. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't think I'm going to take it all the way down to where the pits are out, but at least I got rid of the what felt worst against the when you run your finger across it was the the dimpling caused some of it to actually protrude. So. Feels a lot better now. I don't know how badly that would bother me. I'll leave it like that for a while. This is all just cosmetic. Started messing up and putting a little bit of a heel back here. Alright, I'm going to try my darnest to do the Paul Sellers method, which, if you've seen him on YouTube, he comes right up to the edge. The main difference between the way he showed and, well, he's got a couple of differences. One is he uses just a standard chisel in part of his demonstration. He doesn't really think you need a big heavy mortising chisel. This is an intermediary. This is a sash mortising chisel, and you know there are some now who look with a certain amount of disdain upon this. Hey, it's my chisel. I like it. The true mortising chisel is a bit stouter. That's alright. So I'm not sure if he does this with the mortising chisel or the lighter chisel he brings out at some point, but I'm going to get in the way of the camera here, so sorry. So I guess the point of this, his method, the main difference, if you've ever watched, am I doing this part right? Wait. Yes. Yes, I think I am. Okay. Since I'm just doing a shallow one anyway. So I think you're always using, okay, no, when you're coming this way, you're using the bevel itself as your lever. If you're doing this, it doesn't seem like so much. But you should already have your void, so you're just basically driving the chips into the void, I guess. And I'll probably have to go back to the video to figure out the next step, whether he comes all the way back to here. Not quite sure that he did. Oh, I remember with the when he used the heavy chisel, as opposed to when he showed the technique with the light chisel, he did not lever against the back edge. He came up here because you didn't want to damage your edge by levering against it. So, alright. Anyway. I watched another guy do, I guess, a traditional method, and his was much more like what I would have done had I just gone at this without any comparison to anybody else, which is, you know, a little tap, 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 and then clean it out this way. And I'm still fighting the urge to just go back and do this. When you see Paul Sellers do it, it's all, you know, he does production work fast. So it's like, you know, he's throwing chips big time. So, yeah, alright, well, I mean, I definitely have some learning to do. I have to watch this video a couple more times to figure out how you bottom this out. But, overall, it seems to be doing what it's supposed to. I did not get the perfect flat. I had to switch to doing it by hand. I gave up on that jig. And I just don't have that steady a hand. So that's the best I could do. Did that on the diamond stone, then buffed it on a wheel.